Welcome to IAYTD and welcome to Comic Fights. This week we have a truly epic matchup. This arc that we're building about Gotham City now infested with... Actually, let me back up. Let me give you the whole context here. So it started with the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut in this mishmash of worlds ended up in Gotham City and wanted to take advantage of this. So he's running rampant, he's stealing money. He is stopped by the protector of Gotham City, Batman. But Batman can't really defeat him on his own, so Batman brings in John Constantine, who makes a deal with the demon Sidorak to take away the power from Juggernaut and give it to Constantine. So Constantine is now the avatar of Sidorak, and he's bouncing. He's out fighting demons. He'll be back. But now, Batman is in charge of Gotham. He's looking over all these villains, these heroes, everyone that's not supposed to be here. The villains want to run this place, and they know that Batman is in their way. So the Kingpin sends all of his goons, all of the villains, everyone, weakens Batman to the point where he is just short, and Kingpin takes advantage, gets rid of the Dark Knight. So now Gotham is hero-less. Villains are running rampant. Someone needs to step up and take the mantle of Batman to instill hope, to rally people together. So who does that? It begins with this comment from Ty. I feel like Nightwing will be the one because he did the role before and he is the best choice. So all of this happens and the Bat family, including Nightwing, see that Gotham needs a hero. Nightwing has taken on the role of Batman before. He knows where everything is kept. So he goes to the Batcave, he suits up, but he cannot do this alone. There's all of these Marvel villains, these mutants, people that are much more powerful than Batman's traditional rogues gallery. So he needs help. So Nightwing begins to look through our heroes, all of these new Marvel editions that are working independently. And so he starts to pinpoint people that can help him. Now Grayson knows that sometimes you have to do what you need to do, and you need to clean the streets, or you need to clean them permanently. So he's gonna look for a couple people to fill in the ranks of the new Bat family and clean the streets. Omega TV suggests the Punisher. Let Frank Castle bring his brand of justice to Gotham. If he comes, the villains of Gotham will run. Sean has another idea. He says, some solid suggestions here. I really like the IAYTD comment threads. Let's throw Marvel's Batman into the mix, the avatar of Khonshu, Moon Knight. Mark Spector's in the same mold as Batman. Billionaire vigilante that uses technology and training to bring justice to the streets. I think the rogues of Gotham would be terrified. So Nightwing brings these two into the fold. And, he tells them, do what you need to do. Let's start cleaning the streets. The skull is replaced with a bat symbol. Moon Knight in his traditional white becomes black. Now Batman, even though he's dead, is starting to appear. People are starting to talk, but it's not enough. So Nightwing now thinks we have people that cause fear, but we need someone that is truly without fear. Ash Moe says, I'd go for Daredevil. One of the reasons people look up to Batman, Bruce Wayne, is that despite all he's achieved, he is still human, just like Daredevil. Daredevil is an expert hand-to-hand combatant, and his radar sense to see, which works similarly to echolocation, much like an actual bat, and his other remaining senses have been enhanced to superhuman levels due to his blindness. Daniel Bright agrees and says, who better to instill fear into the heart of villains than the man without fear? Any other hero would just be wearing the costume and doing their regular routine, but Daredevil is sort of Batman's kindred spirit. They are both so incredibly similar that Daredevil would step into the role seamlessly. Acrobatics, hand-to-hand combat skills, and I can't help but think his extrasensory abilities would only serve to help him as he sneaks through the shadows. He would play a convincing Batman for sure. So they bring Matt Murdock into the mix. They've got Punisher and Moon Knight taking out criminals for good. Now they put Daredevil in the Batman suit. He's out there stopping maybe some mid-tier people, but there's something missing. They need something different. Teen Life 101 says, I feel that a woman should take his place. My first thought is Jessica Jones. Jessica is a hero that comes from a similar city, fictionally. Jessica is not an overpowered hero, so it won't be too easy for her. She can fly, she has super strength. With judging by previous feats, that could be around 5 to 7 tons. She is telepathically immune to a certain degree, and she's durable enough to take hit after hit without showing much damage. I also say her because she was a private investigator and will eventually figure out Kingpin's plans. Jessica also is a damaged hero, meaning she was kind of an anti-hero, but also relatable, which can bring a juicy storyline. Ed Lippincott suggests, I would suggest Domino as a replacement for Batman. She has luck-based powers which allow things to work out for her if they can, like things do for Batman already. She has experience as an investigator, is skilled in the use of combat tools and weapons, as sometimes a mercenary. She has also faced all sorts of weird stuff in her career. So we suit them up, like the Batgirl, the Batwoman of the new Bat family, Jessica Jones and Domino, using their particular strengths to take out some more villains. The streets are starting to look a little cleaner, but Kingpin has a tight rein, and now he has all these superpowered people at his whim. So Nightwing recruits someone that we've pitted against him before. So he's familiar with this hero. He knows what this hero can do, and this hero is superpowered enough to potentially stop Kingpin and his army of goons. He reaches out to Peter Parker. Sam Murphy suggests, Nightwing was my first thought, obviously. However, given the method of Batman's death, it makes sense that someone from the Marvel Universe would feel partly responsible and would want to redeem their image as well as pay homage to the Caped Crusader. Kingpin has been one of Spider-Man's greatest villains. Thus, he would take the mantle of Batman and end Fisk's reign in Gotham. In terms of ability, Spider-Man is pretty much on par with Nightwing and the other Bat family members, save his web-slinging, and thus suits the role physically as much as any of them. However, the deciding factor would be that one of Spider-Man's rogues gallery was the one to dispose of the Dark Knight. With great power comes great responsibility. So Peter Parker decks out in a black Spider-Man suit, not the symbiote, just a black suit to blend into the shadows and give that feeling that Batman is back, that the city has hope. So a lot is going on here. There's a lot of battles happening. You know, we have like this crew of like 6 or 7 or 8 different heroes taking on different personas of Batman. They're serving different functions. Gotham is starting to kind of fall into place. But Spider-Man now goes to Kingpin and he's going to finish him for good. But things don't turn out quite the way we thought they would. Kingpin is no longer Kingpin. Kingpin is Clayface, Basil Carlo. See, when this started to happen, when Kingpin was rallying the troops, Carlo saw what he's been looking for this whole time. He's very powerful, but he never had the leverage, the political power, the influence that Kingpin has. So quietly, in the night, he took out Kingpin once and for all and took his place. So they don't fight then and there. Spider-Man retreats, he escapes. But now they have prep time. So Spider-Man knows that he needs to somehow take out Clayface, but he needs to get through all of these other villains to get to him. He's fought villains like this before, like Sandman, so he might be able to think of a way to stop Clayface, but getting to him is going to be very difficult. Clayface now knows that Spider-Man is in the ranks of the Bat family. Everyone else is relatively low level, so he's going to send everything he can at this new group of vigilantes. So let's cover what each of them can do, and then you're going to tell me which one's going to take the cake. So Spider-Man, without any of the Bat gear or gadgets, he can stick to walls. He has web shooters that he can sling to capture people or travel the city quickly. He has an inherent spider sense where he can pick up when things are about to hit him or when danger is nearby. He's incredibly strong, so he's able to throw punches that are going to hurt even superpowered individuals. So way more than just an average grunt human. His spider sense can be a weakness because people have learned to manipulate the spider sense or get around the spider sense, so it's not always something you can rely on. Without any of that, he's also a genius. He's an inventor. So he's going to take all of the gear and gadgets that Batman has at his disposal, and he's going to find unique ways to blend them together with his technology. He's going to possibly use some of that armor. He's going to do what he can with all of Bruce Wayne's inventions to suit him. So I want you to think about what he's able to do naturally and what sort of tools and gadgets Batman has at his disposal that Peter Parker can now work into his repertoire. So now let's talk about what Clayface can do. Clayface is basically able to transform his entire body into this mud-like clay substance, which means he's basically immune to pain, that any punch, attack, anything, he can reform. He can also change his size and density, that he can become gigantic, he can become rock hard. He can reform, he can create weapons. Brute force alone is not going to do anything to Clayface. His clay is also somewhat toxic, meaning if it touches skin, he can basically poison them. So what happens now? We've got Spider-Man with all the Bat gadgets. We've got Kingpin with his political influence and influence over the crime in Gotham. with the physical abilities of Clayface. So that might be enough, just the two of them, but also imagine there's this whole Bat family, there's all of these villains running rampant. All of this is going to collide. What happens? So I want you to get creative because this is an awesome arc. There's a lot of creative factors here. Lay out your story and feel free to add to other people's stories. We're going to see how this weaves together in some really interesting ways. So leave your comment below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Friday to see how this plays out.